Well, welcome to FFA TV, to Phil Hogan, Commissioner for Agriculture here in Brussels, the man in charge with guiding European agricultural policy until 2019, and what a job. How are you?
Yes, not too bad. It's quite a difficult job, all right, especially after the last few years where we had a lot of difficulties for farmers with the commodities of especially dairy and pig meat, but we're now in the phase of where things are improving again in those areas, and 2017 is going to be the policy year where we're setting the scene for the next reform in 2020.
Now, you've just given a keynote speech to the forum here today on the CAP in the age of the Sustainable Development Goals. Of course, the CAP has been around since the late 50s when it was about sorting out European hunger after the war. Now we're talking about feeding more with less. Is the CAP therefore definitively outmoded? The forum this year is talking about rebooting the system. Isn't that what is actually needed?
Well, that's why I've instigated the simplification and modernisation of a policy, because we have, since the 2013 reform, we have the Sustainable Development Goals have been agreed in 2015. We have the Nutrition Conference, which agreed as well the importance of nutritious food, not just any old food. And thirdly, we have the Paris Agreement on climate change. So a lot has happened in 2015 that we're now asking our farmers and are asking people in the rural countryside to adapt their policies, adapt the income supports to make sure that these are taken into account. So in addition to food quality on the tables of every consumer in the European Union and indeed outside it, we now have to look at our policies again to see how we can do more on sustainable development and on climate.
Kofi Annan addressed the conference this morning and actually did talk about nutrition being a central theme. I wonder today, when you look at the debate that you've just had, how much complexity in the CAP, which is always a thorny issue that comes up, how much that is something that you have your mind on solving?
Well, I've introduced 300 changes on the simplification agenda in the last 2 years. And of course, I now have to look at how we can open the basic legislation to do more in the context of 2020. So this policy is going to be simplification proofed to make it simple as possible for our beneficiaries in particular.
I wonder, is it future proofed? Because you look at the world today, it's a volatile world. We could talk about climate, we could talk about politics, we could talk about the UK's divorce from the EU starts with Article 50 being triggered tomorrow. Do you think all of those pressures are game changers whilst you've got those big issues ahead? You're still looking at trying to get a good and fair deal for farmers, aren't you?
Well, at the end of the day, farmers are indispensable as partners in resolving these issues about the environment and climate and water quality and sustainability generally. And if we don't have farmers, we won't have a product for food security purposes, but also we won't have people, our boots on the ground, in order to help us to achieve our policy goals. So it's a balance that we have to strike, and I think farmers are now up for this challenge, and we have to incentivise them to do so. They have to be paid for providing public services, environmental services, the same as every other profession.
Our theme this year is a time for action. This seems to be what you're saying as well. Do you think that the 10th anniversary of the forum, that progress has been made? There was a very strong exchange of views in the forum just now.
I don't think we've made enough progress, but we are playing a bit of catch-up in relation to our sustainability and in relation to many of the environment and climate issues and biodiversity. And we are now going to face into the next reform in trying to do more, but to be able to ensure that our policy is more simple and more flexible, to be able to give farmers the latitude and the flexibility to be able to do things themselves and incentivise them to do so in that particular process. I think there is a lot of goodwill in the farming community at the moment for the issues around sustainability, and we heard a number of farmers in the conference articulating that today, which I would not have heard 5 years ago.
Still critics, though, who will say too little too late from the EU?
Well, all I can say is that I'm here now, and as a former Minister for the Environment in Ireland, and as somebody from a rural constituency in the southeast of Ireland and a farming background, I think I am best placed and well placed to develop a policy that will meet a lot of our challenges and meet a lot of our goals that we all are aspiring to.
Phil Hogan, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the forum.
Thank you very much.